So I had to end the previous live because they were threatening to ban my account. So we'll continue from here. So we just read Genesis chapter 19. And in this chapter, when we read chapter 18 yesterday, we saw how angels visited Abraham, and Abraham entertained them, and then the Lord told Abraham that he was going to Sodom to see if everything was as that the cry of Sodom had come to his ears. So he was going to see if if they were indeed as wicked as they cry. Okay, and so in this chapter, two angels went to Sodom in the evening. Okay, and in verse 1 we're told that Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. Okay, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. So Lot was sitting at the gate of Sodom, and when he saw these angels, he immediately ran to them and bowed himself to the ground. So this means that, like his uncle Abraham, he was also able to recognize these heavenly messengers. Okay, and one thing I want to point out here is Lot sat at the gate of Sodom. Okay, meaning he was at the right place at the right time. Okay, he was at the right place at the right time. Because as we read further, we will see how significant it was that he was at the gate of Sodom and saw these people first, these angels first. Okay, so and then he begged them to come into his house, okay, to wash their feet, to eat something, and to spend the night at his house. And then the next morning they could continue on their journey. But they told him no, that they were going to sleep in the streets. But he refused. Okay, he refused and continued to he was able to convince them to come into his house. Now, while they were in his house, the men of the city of Sodom came to Lot's house and began to knock on Lot's door, asking Lot to bring out the men who came to visit him so that they could sleep with these men. So these people, can see that they were homosexuals. So that was one of the sins of Sodom. Okay, homosexuality, and the Lord was their cup was finally full. Okay, their cup was finally full. So they were knocking on Lot's door, and they almost broke down the door. Okay, telling him that he should bring out the men so they could sleep with them. But Lot came out of the house and pleaded with them, said, I have 2 daughters. Okay, I have 2 daughters who are virgins. You can take them. Okay, you can take them and sleep with them if you want, but leave my visitors alone. Because Lot knew who these men were. But the men of the city refused. In fact, in verse 6, they said, stand back. Okay, and they said again, this one fellow came into sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. Now when Lot pleaded with them, okay, and said, please, these men have taken shelter under my roof, and I can't watch harm come to them. Okay, so take my daughters if you want, but leave these visitors alone. And then the men of the city were angry, and then they began to say that Lot, who is a stranger, has the guts, okay, to come to their city and be a judge and tell them what to do, okay, and all of that. And they now said they were going to do worse to Lot than they planned to do to the visitors, okay. And so they pressed sore upon him and came near to break the door. Now remember, Lot was outside. He had come out of the house, locked the door behind him, okay, and was pleading with the men outside. And then they compassed him about. They began to push against him. In fact, they pressed against him so much that they almost broke the door. And then the angels put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them. And then they shut the door. Okay. They put forth their hand, they pulled Lot into the house and shut the door. Angelic power. Okay? That is, they exercised that angelic power that they had. And then in verse 11, it said, and they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. So after the angels pulled Lot into the house and shut the door, they made all the men outside who had come to take the angels captive. The angels made them all blind. They became blind and they began to struggle to trying to find the door. Okay, so we can see the angelic power at play here. The angelic power at play here. Okay, and one thing that I want to say is, now initially I talked about being at the right place at the right time. Now imagine if Lot wasn't at the gate when these men came into the city, when the angels came into the city. Lot perhaps would have missed them. Okay, Lot perhaps would have missed them, and he would have missed the advantage that he got by virtue of his of him in entertaining these visitors. Okay, so I want to also say that when you are in a tight situation, when you are compassed about, okay, when there's nowhere else to turn, when there's nowhere else to run, I pray that the Lord will send you angelic help. Okay, I pray that the Lord will send you angelic help, that his angels will be there to help you, that just as they did with Lot, they will pull you from that situation, from that tight corner, by a mighty hand into the safety of the Lord. Okay, pray that the Lord will send you timely angelic help when you are compassed about, that his angels will come and help you. And then in verse 12, the angels then asked Lot if he had anyone else there, like sons-in-law, sons, daughters, and that they told him to bring out everybody that was connected to him. Okay, to gather everyone connected to him. And then Lot had some, they're referred to as sons-in-law, but I believe they are people who were betrothed to Lot's daughters. Okay, they were betrothed to Lot's daughters, and Lot went to them and pleaded with them, said, "Come with me, because this city is going to be destroyed." But we're told that he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. They didn't take him seriously. They thought he was being silly. Okay. And so when morning came, the angels were in a hurry. They began to there was this sense of urgency. Okay, they began to hurry Lot along, and they told him, said, get up, take your wife and your 2 daughters. Okay, get up, take your wife and your 2 daughters, leave this place, otherwise you will be consumed, otherwise you will be destroyed with this city. Because the angels were in a hurry to destroy Sodom. They had gone and they had seen that indeed the perversion, indeed the iniquity of Sodom was exactly as the cry had come up to heaven. So they had seen it with their 2 eyes, so they were in a hurry to destroy Sodom. So they told Lot, be fast, hurry up, take your wife, take your daughters, leave this place, so you don't get destroyed with the city. And then in verse 16 we're told that, and while he lingered, okay, and while he lingered, now before I go on to that, I want to point out something here. Now the angels asked Lot, do you have anyone related to you? Sons-in-law, sons, daughters, anyone connected to you. Now the angels did not ask, do you have anyone righteous that you would like to take with you? They asked, do you have anyone that you would like to take with you? Anyone connected to you? Anyone that you would not want to have destroyed? So the people did not need to be righteous. Okay, they did not need to be righteous. They only needed to be connected, associated with Lot. I don't know if you get the point I'm trying to make here. Okay? I don't know if you get the point I'm trying to make here. The people did not need to be righteous. When the angels asked Lot, do you have anyone? Sons-in-law, this, that, the sons-in-law of Lot, I don't think they were exactly righteous. Okay, I don't think they were necessarily righteous. Okay. The angels were ready to save anyone who was associated with Lot. So Lot was an umbrella, a covering. And so if Lot had pointed at anyone and said, this one comes with me, this one comes with me, the person would have been saved. I don't know if we get the point I'm making here, but we need to get this point. Okay? Lot only needed to say, this is the person I want to come with me. This is the person I want to come with me. This is the person I want to come with me. And they would be saved. Regardless of whether they were righteous or not. Lot was an umbrella, a covering. Okay. And his sons-in-law, of course, they didn't take him seriously. If they had, they too would have been saved. If a friend of his had taken him seriously and joined with him, he would have been saved. So there are certain people under whose umbrella we can be assured of mercy. I'll take that again. There are certain people under whose umbrella we can be assured of mercy. There are certain people that because of them, God will have mercy. That because of them, God will have mercy on others. Another example of this was in the case of Paul when he was on his journey to Rome. Okay, and there was a tempest and everything that lasted for weeks. Okay, everyone was supposed to die, but no one died because of Paul, because the Lord had promised him that he was not going to die and that no life would be lost. So it was a promise made to Paul, and for Paul's sake, the lives of over 300 people were saved. So there are certain people under whose umbrella you are assured of mercy. And Lot was one of such people. Okay? It was quite unfortunate that others didn't take advantage of that umbrella of mercy. And in verse 16, we're told that while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters, the Lord being merciful unto him. And they brought him forth and set him without the city. While he lingered, okay, while he lingered, he was still, trying to being sluggish. Of course, it was not easy. He couldn't just get up and leave his house, his gold, his silver, his cattle, everything, that he had, everything that he had been blessed with. Okay, it wasn't easy. So he lingered. But the angels held him by the hand, held his wife, held his 2 daughters, dragged them out of Sodom, because they could not afford to destroy Lot and his family along with Sodom. So they literally held them by the hand and dragged them out of Sodom, just so that their lives could be saved. That was mercy. And it's emphatically stated here. Okay? Say, the Lord being merciful unto him. The Lord being merciful unto him. I pray that the mercy of God will pull you out of any out of destruction, even when you linger. May the mercy of God pull you out of destruction, even when you linger. There are certain times when there will be danger in front, okay, and the Lord will do everything to stop you from getting to that point, but you would stubbornly want to get to that point. So while you're going on the road, you might hit your leg against a stone, okay, and you will be so and maybe you end up with an injury just by hitting your leg on a stone. And at that point, you're supposed to turn back, but you would stubbornly continue on the journey. And then while you're going on, while you're on the way, someone could just a car could be moving, a car could be driving past and splash water on you. And you're supposed to turn back at that point, but you continue moving. All of these things are the Lord warning you, the Lord trying to stop you from getting to that point. But you will not, until you get to that point of danger. And still, the Lord by mercy will pull you out of that danger by a mighty hand. Okay, with a mighty hand. Lot lingered, he delayed. Okay. And while he delayed, the angels forced him out of there. They pulled him out of there. I pray that the Lord in his mercy will pull you out of destruction, even when you linger, even when you delay, even when you stubbornly continue on that journey that he has been warning you against. May the Lord help us. And then in verse 17, when they had brought them out of Sodom, they told them, say, escape for your life. Do not look back. Okay? Do not look back. Don't stay in the plains. Escape to the mountains so that the fire will not consume you. That was a simple instruction. Don't look back. Okay? Don't look back. Now, what I want to point out here is that when Lot entered into Sodom, he entered as a rich man. He entered with cattle, with servants, with gold, with silver, and all of that. Remember, it was riches that made him separate from Abraham, because he got so rich. Abraham was really wealthy, and then Lot himself became so rich that they could no longer stay together. The land could no longer contain the both of their wealth. So they had to split, they had to separate. Now, Lot disconnected from Abraham, from his spiritual covering. And he entered into Sodom, a rich man. But he came out of Sodom with nothing. Not with his, he did not come out with his cattle. He did not come out with, he left in a hurry. The angels had to grab them by the hand and pull them. Just their lives just needed to be saved. But every other thing that Lot had got destroyed with Sodom. Got destroyed along with Sodom. So when you disconnect from your spiritual covering, you lose everything. Your life becomes open for the devil. And also, when you dwell in sin, you lose a lot. You lose a lot. Okay, when you can't dwell in sin for too long. Something must go wrong along the way. Okay? So now they were given a simple instruction: do not turn back. Okay? And then Lot pleaded with the angels to allow him enter a neighboring city, a small city, so that so he begged them not to destroy that tiny little city, to let him enter there. So they agreed, and they let him go to the city. Okay? And the name of the city was called Zoar. Okay? And then, so when the sun was risen upon the earth, okay? The sun was risen upon the earth. When Lot had entered into Zoar, then the Lord rained down brimstone and fire, okay, upon Sodom and Gomorrah. So everything was destroyed, including the plants, the animals, the humans, the plants, everything was destroyed. Okay? And then we're told that we can see from here that God is hard on sin. God is harsh on sin. God hates sin. He might tolerate it a while. He might suffer long with it and watch. But he hates it. And the day he has had enough, he will crush it with a mighty hand. He hates sin. Okay? He is harsh on sin. He rained down fire and brimstone to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah. And in verse 26, we are told that his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. Now they were given a simple instruction: don't look back. Don't look back. But his wife looked back. Maybe when she saw the way when she heard the fire raining down on Sodom, she remembered all their valuables, everything that they had that was in Sodom, and she looked back. And as she looked back, she was turned into a pillar of salt. To a pillar of salt. She was not to look back. I want to say, don't look back at Sodom. When you leave Sodom, don't look back. I don't know that you've left the life of sin. You've left the way of the world, the life of the world, and you've come unto Christ. Don't look back. Don't look back. Okay. Keep your eyes on the goal, which is salvation. Jesus Christ. Be focused on where you're going, where the Lord is taking you. Don't look back. Don't look back. Okay? Don't start reminiscing about how everything was so easy with you when you had not yet given your life to Christ. Don't look back. Don't go and begin to live the life of sin, the same life of sin that you were living before you became born again. Don't look back. Okay? I pray that the Lord will help us. And then we're told that from verse 27 to 29, we're told that Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before God. And he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah, and toward all the land of the plain. And behold, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. The fire was a lot. It was a brutal fire. Okay? It said the whole plain was on fire. Okay? The whole plain was on fire. We're told in verse 29 that when God destroyed the cities of the plain, God remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. So, because of Abraham, Lot was spared. So we see that your association has the potential to preserve you. Your association has the potential to preserve you. The people you associate with can either make or break you. See, look at Lot. Because he was associated with Abraham, the Lord spared him. Not just him, but his family. The Lord spared him. Okay, because by virtue of association. So I pray that the Lord will help us to associate with the right people, to recognize and associate with the right people in our lives. Okay, may the Lord help us. And then from verse 30 to 38, we're told that Lot left Zoar, that little city he went into. He left the city, or the he left the city, and went to dwell in the mountains. I think because he was scared or something. And then his daughters, the elder daughter said unto the younger daughter, our father is old, and there is no man to sleep with us, so that we can have children for our father. So let us give our father wine to drink, and when he's drunk, let us go and sleep with him, so that we can have children by him and continue his name. That was incest. And the first daughter did it the first night, and she came and told the younger one. And then that night they gave the next night they gave their father wine again to drink, and then he got drunk. And the second daughter also went and slept with him. And we're told that Lot did not know what happened. He didn't know when they went in and when they got up, because he was drunk. They really made him very drunk. Okay, they made him very drunk. And so his two daughters got pregnant. He got pregnant by him. That was incest and that was rape. And I don't know why they did that. That their reason is quite flimsy. But God help us. So they got pregnant by their father, and they had the children. And the first one gave birth to a son called Moab, and that happens to be the father of the Moabites. As we read further, we'll come to see a little about who the Moabites were. And then the second daughter gave birth and named her son Benami. Okay, Benami. And Benami was the father of the children of Ammon. Okay, until today. Okay. Now, one thing I want to say is this. Look at the level of depravity that has come out of this whole thing. I'm sure that when Lot, the level of depravity and destruction and heartache, heartbreak that came out of this. When Lot was entering into Sodom to leave, I'm sure he never imagined in his wildest dreams that it would turn out this way. He never imagined that it would turn out this way. Okay. He never imagined that it would turn out this way. But see how it did. And we see that with things like this, the results, the repercussions do not come at once. They might take a while. It might take years. If Lot did not pitch his tent towards Sodom, all of these wouldn't have happened. If he did not pitch his tent towards Sodom, he disconnected from his spiritual covering, and then he pitched his tent towards Sodom and eventually entered into Sodom. And look at all that has happened as a result of that. He lost his properties, his cattle, his goods, everything. He lost his wife. He lost his wife because she turned back and became a pillar of salt. So he basically lost his wife. And now his two daughters molested him, raped him, committed incest with him, and got pregnant by him. I can't even imagine how Lot must have felt by all of these things. The deluge of emotions, different emotions. Okay. But all of these stem from one simple act of pitching his tent towards Sodom. I pray that the Lord will help us not to pitch our tent towards Sodom, so that we do not end up losing the things that are valuable to us in life. So that we do not end up losing the things that are valuable to us in life. Okay, so that we do not end up empty, disgraced, ashamed. May the Lord help us. In Jesus Christ's name. Amen. Thank you all for being a part of Word Mail today. It was a pleasure having you here. For us, may the Lord give you the grace to apply to your life that which you've learned tonight. In Jesus Christ's name. So, thank you all so much for being a part of Word Mail today. It was a pleasure having you here. See you tomorrow, same time, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. But don't come alone. Invite someone. And as you do so, may the Lord bless you abundantly. Have a lovely night's rest, and good night.